This is my new toy, all the way from China. It's a tiny little belt grinder, and it's quite astounding. I got this on Black Friday, so it was around about, I don't know, 35 quid. And I wasn't expecting an awful lot. Because that included delivery from China to the UK. I'm quite astounded, to be frank. It's beautifully made, considering the price. There are some shortcomings. I'll come on to that in a second. But generally speaking, it's not tin. It's solid blocks of very thick. I think it's probably half-inch aluminium, 10 mil, could even be 12 mil aluminium there, and wonderfully well made. The motor leaves a bit to be desired. It's quite a cheap one, but what do you expect? And the bearings on these three, the two plate wheels and the idler and tensioner wheel here are pretty crap. They look like they've come out of something like a cheap roller skate, but they are quite easy to replace, say with SKF bearings or something similar, and that I think would have a massive upgrade to the machine. It's quite easy. I would have thought this is a fairly standard diameter motor. Again, quite easy to change, and you could possibly put a brushless DC motor in there, fairly high torque, and have a infinitely variable speed. But as it comes with a DC power pack, 240, 110 volts to 12 to 24 volts AC, which seems to have a 7-step resistor here, which gives you, let me just switch it on. This is the low speed, and you can adjust the speed quite high. 7 steps apparently. As you can see, there is an adjuster here. I've put a little Allen key on there, which allows you to center up the belt here, which is quite responsive. That's on a little screw here which presses against this plate, and it runs the 330mm belts, which are quite tiny little belts. But if I just press the top here, I can, even with one hand, remove those belts and replace them. I think these are pretty cheap as well. Again, I would have thought that these are available for more professional use in that size, because I think these are the same belts that they use in the Bosch type, you know, where they got the bit that sticks out the front there, like that pointed thing for shaping sanders. So I think you could probably buy some fairly good quality ones, even though within that 35 quid, they give you 10 of these of different grits. So again, that's fantastic. You get a set of Allen keys for every single Allen key socket head screw that you've got on here, and as you can see, it's infinitely adjustable. Angle here, the angle of the actual table here is adjustable in and out, so you can go against the belt, and also it can be tilted probably about 45 degrees in either direction. So in summary, it is beautiful. For 30 quid, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd expect it to pay that much in postage for something this heavy, because it is heavy. This is weighing in over, I don't know, it's probably nearing almost a kilo. It's tiny. It's usable for small tools, ideal for tiny little things like small lathe tools, milling cutters that have been snapped off that you want to possibly reuse. Actually grinding, I would have thought, edges on edge tools that I make. So all of those things up to that size. It's quite limited. Obviously, it's a small width belt. It's a 10. I think it's a 10mm or a 12mm belt. And the reason I got it, one of the reasons I got it, this is the idler here, which goes, is to look at the design as it stood in miniature, and then think about upsizing it to something like 4 times that size to make a proper knife grinding, edge grinding belt sander, the light shaper that I can use in the machine shop. And to be honest with you, it's a very, very simple design, but it is, you know, exactly what I think I need. I would obviously replace this with a brushless DC motor of a larger horsepower, and also feed it directly through a variable speed drive. But conceptually, it's given me, well, absolutely everything I need to make my own larger version. And in fact, I thought this was just going to be a toy. I honestly think that this is going to be a usable device. So very impressed. Shop around. You can get them all over eBay, direct from China. I'd say the lowest price I managed to find was 35 quid all in. I think it's cheaper even in America. I just don't know how they do it for that. Well, I do, but I still don't see how, from materials point of view, if I sat here and made this out of sheet aluminium, milling, motor, power supply itself, we're talking 15 quid. I just couldn't make it for that. So I'm really impressed. I will be tinkering with it. I'll be taking these bearings off here and popping the bearings out, sticking some good ones in there. Let's see, get some decent belts, and let's see then come back and see what sort of improvements can be made. But I think this is a beautiful little and very handy tool. Highly recommended. Cheers.